Boy, howdy. I don't know why they're speaking Southern today.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Well, we got one game left on the docket for the day, and it is on Miramar. And it has been a definite scene shift, I would say, from what we saw in PGS 7.
When did Miramar become our chess match, where everybody is having to move and then counter move and lightly scout, and Erangel is like, nah, hot drops, bro, let's go.
hot drop thing. Well, not going to see that here on Miramar, most likely. Although the way things are playing out, I would not be surprised to see if some people start getting a little bit more active in early games, scrapping come tomorrow, especially if they're in group. What do we got tomorrow? BC. Yeah. So especially if they're Group B, trying to make a move, or if there's anybody in Group B that you just prefer not to see make it to the grand final, I wouldn't be surprised.
I said that with so much confidence. Now I'm sitting here going, yeah,
hey,
BC,
I believe you.
Because usually we end on AC, right? It's usually
A, B,
BC,
A, B, BC.
So if they've changed it for whatever reason, I'm just going off of tradition.
Well, just remember this, guys. If they did change it and it's wrong, it's all Matchup's fault.
It is. It's totally mine. I own all of my mistakes.
Why don't you just press the start button, man? Let's go. Too much talk.
I'm sorry. I like doing Southern accents, so I'll push the button whenever I get done with my accent. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, now we get the complete opposite of what we have just been seeing, and we are going off to the north. Furia in dead center. Actually, 4 teams. 5 teams, I guess, if you can include Begopop, but they're going to El Pozo, only in zone. So a lot of people are going to be having to make these rotations in a very long way.
I mean, Cabrera, Oasis, we still have Cruz de Valle. And yes, we do have kind of that whole situation going on around where Furia is at. We still have Hacienda San Martin. So this is going to be a bit different, but also kind of still the same. When we look over into the west, a lot of high ground. Don't be surprised if you see Batulin's probably on a high ground rock, seeing if you can spot rotations over there. But on top of that, it's really as we make our way from Cabrera to the east, it starts to flatten out a lot more, specifically going over into the north as well. So not as much territory once we move over to the east because it opens up a lot. So this is going to be a lot more long-range skirmish than we saw in the last game.
I already see Furia. They drop over in this water treatment area. I already see them heading more towards the center of the zone to that little compound just south of Oasis Mountain.
Yes.
Good compound to take early, as they'll do a little bit of a 2-2 split, it looks like, between Haven and Gizera. I'm sure the rest of the boys will come soon. Meanwhile, HS doing a little pre-scouting for 4 a.m. as they finish looting up in Hacienda.
Yeah, I mean, interesting that Hacienda is one of the most southern sections in this circle. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen that
right.
in Miramar. As it's going all the way up to the north. Does it touch the northern wall? Do we still have unplayable in this one?
I mean, as is tradition for today, I think maybe 10% of this circle is unplayable, maybe 5.
Mean, really, probably close to 50 to 20, because who goes north of Oasis? That's just like death trap.
That's fair.
Circle, go north of Oasis, please.
Please, let's see it. I love it. No, I mean that is where rotations happen, and not much.
A lot of car joust will happen because there's the sand dunes over there, and that's one of the things I love.
Yes. Well, you get a look at Forest as they finish up their looting. And where are they on the map right now? They are just off. They started off in Campo Militar, so they're getting a little bit close to HSM. Now, remember, HSM, rest of his team slowly arriving. You should be able to see them on the mini-map here shortly. But he is being very, very careful because I think he may have heard the vehicles from Forest just ahead of him as he's still doing a little scouting here with that 4X M16, OG DMR.
I mean, he is not sitting good on kind of the loot situation. So with this, God, V is
going to get your spot in zone, man.
Yeah. I mean, smart call off of it. And Forest doesn't really want to probably take too much right now because they don't have a lot of information on what's going on in this area. Water treatment is kind of an interesting area to play around, specifically the strength of this compound, because if we do see this go east, you're going to get a lot of good vision control.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously that road that runs to the west of water treatment, a big player, is Furia already in a 2-2 split along that roadside, so they were very, very quick make sure they took the spot that they wanted, but HS now getting a little bit close on the hillside to Kiss. Right on the line as the shots come through, but Kiss will get the headshot and get the knock, and now will turn his attention over to Godvi as Olympus will get him. 4 a.m. falling apart in the early game.
Down to just 2 a.m., make it 1 a.m. as this is the absolute catastrophe for 4 a.m. on this run. I mean, they've just got to kind of surrender this. They have to assume. I'm kind of surprised that Forrest isn't kind of over pushing this. I was going to say they have to assume that they've got numbers advantage, but Tomu, good sneaky angle, using the wall to peek around. Going to hit a couple more shots in retaliation, but I don't think that he really wants more than just to slow them down.
I mean, got his 1 point.
Oh, HS maybe?
Maybe HS working around to the back of the wall. Maybe Forrest lost track of it. They're going to go for the res. Baron is just kind of slowly healing up by himself. So Forrest will lose 1 player, but now Atong Mu will have a shotgun rider in HS.
Good read on probably where the res would be going or where the crawl would be happening at. Baron playing the opposing side. Yeah, there's that. Now down to just 1, and they should pretty much know where he is, especially because the crawl instantly turned that direction. You can't do that. You can't do that.
He's not over this way, I swear.
That's like just selling out your solo right there. Don't do that.
Well, Olympus actually feels like being the doing the lion's share. Whoa, okay, Baron. Right on the staircase. And Forrest gets 4 quick points. They lose Kiss in the process, but that's a worthwhile trade, I think, if you're Forrest.
I mean, hey, Forrest gets some good loot, and now the only downside to that is they were busy looking at 4 Angry Men, and the Freaks did get pretty close to them in the north. So now they're going to try to harass them a bit further away, but I think that was a bit closer than really Forrest wanted the Freaks to get anyway.
Sure. I mean, they still have a great spot to play in this zone, even though they are down to 3, and that's should be defendable for the most part here. As we check in with Navi on the south side, they backfill 4 a.m. and take over Hacienda. There's still 3 teams coming from the south. You got Bestia, Daytrade, and E-Arena. Meanwhile, Rock and T1 wrapping on that western side of the zone, getting a little bit close to each other. And I think T1 may have spotted out that trailing member of Rock, so they're going to go ahead and take a different path in.
Rock is actually doing a stop off at a very interesting compound that we don't get a chance to see much, so they should be pretty much fine over there. I mean, Gk, who's just had a great day in and of themselves, is like respect where respect's due. Them, Navi, are just, they're making the most out of that break. That's all I can really say about it.
Absolutely. PWD letting everybody know what he's made of here. Quizzy kind of doing the same, as I think they'll spot out Beamy, the front man for Virtus Pro. The rest of the squad still off to the south in the city of San Martin proper. So Beamy just kind of trying to find a spot for them to play from. Navi still flexing their legs a little bit here, coming a little bit more towards the north from Hacienda.
It's a bit of a problem, though.
T1 and Rock.
They are right on the edge of the zone. T1 is pathing on the exact same angle for Rock, and does take a little bit of damage on his vehicle, but Rock, I think, is just going, no, shoo away. This is our Rock. You can't have it. So T1, just continue way to the north.
Get those tires, bro. Get the tires. There you go. Heather going to spin out, and he's going to be dead to rights. Nicely done. Santastico will pick off Heather. And now Ian in a little bit of a spot of trouble here. Is BL going to spot him? And now good shots from Ian, though, to return, force BL to move. Will retreat back to the cover of that Bronco.
It almost looked like T1 was thinking about trying to go for a res onto Heather, but Solt's not going to let that happen. Boy, he's like, no, I want this point, and I want it badly.
Absolutely not.
That means that Raining is kind of disconnected from the rest of the squad. Luckily, even if he goes back down to Cabrera, there's nobody there.
Sol's had to hit some shots there, as he emptied an entire clip into the vehicle and didn't land one. So it looks like they'll spot out Raining retreating to the south. But yeah, like you mentioned, T1 split here.
T1 has no loot, man. That was like 30 bullets.
Yeah, not a lot. It's not looking great. Well, Geek, they've collapsed, and they've found themselves a nice little ridge to where, oh, no, that Bronco.
Yeah.
Maybe you can flip it.
It do be a turtle. I think that's what they were trying to do a moment ago. But, I mean, it's not the worst.
Ibby Skydiver?
Oh.
He's all by himself. Going to do a little bit of scouting as
well, Nixie is also in a vehicle coming back this direction, so but I don't. He can't make it there in time. It's got to be just EB if they're going to do anything.
Luca Rux, Nixie, and Beamy all in vehicles as the helicopter has arrived, and Ibby will be
Timing-
in the air.
Timing's a bit interesting on this one. Is usually you want to set it so that way you get picked up right as the new circle pops. So just a couple of seconds off on timing. Don't think it should be too big of a problem.
There you go.
Circle pretty much stays center to the north. So that's pretty much what they were wanting to get information on. Oasis still inside though. I love it.
Oasis? Oh, yes, please. As Begapa, the closest one to it, they're playing around the cliffsides just off to the southwest of a T1, still wrapping around. As 17 going to get a little bit close to Virtus Pro. Ibby has dropped down from that E pickup, found a spot to play. The rest of the gang needs to arrive quickly, though, as Furia still in that 2-2 split. They have shots on this, and yeah, Beamy, that's not the place you want to crash your car, my friend.
Oh, yeah, this is a bit of an issue. 17 with that regroup over into the east. You've just got to get out of this. I mean, Furia on both sides of them. T5 also pretty close. 17 does have the high ground, but with this, the Freaks are still running a 2-1-1, pretty separated. So even if we do see VP kind of right the ship in position, they can't go much further. They just got to stop off.
Yeah, see how far 17 decides to go into this, as they've got Forest just off to their east, DNF off to their north, but not a lot of little ridge lines that they could play with here, as Baron's going to be forced to pull back down. T5, meanwhile, will pull in just off to the south of that northernmost half of the 2-2 Furia split. So Furia have that split going, but they've got a lot of company around them.
Yeah, really also kind of day trade. They're getting kept out by where we see GK at. Arena, Rock, while they did get that kill on the T1, are behind in pacing for getting into the circle versus T1, as T1 is regrouping in Oasis. So if anything, Arena is definitely going to need this glider because they need information. They are coming into this pretty blind.
Yeah, no, definitely is. You mentioned Rock, that big wide split on that northwestern side after taking the fight to T1. As we see GK still trying to make their way in. They lost Quizzy and PWD and Spiro down to next to nothing. Batulin's in a perfect position to take advantage. PWD gets taken down by example, and I think now Twisted Minds realizing that they have these guys at a disadvantage, but they are in that 2-2 split, so Batulin's Perfectix can't really afford to just blind push, especially now that they're getting shot in the back by RBN from Rock.
Yeah, and that's a really hard hillside to push down because you're just going to get punished. Yeah, I was going to say the third party is they just run amok on you.
Yeah.
And you can see the Perfectix, he wants it, but just look at the ground exploding around him. The cost is too high, so they'll just let the res happen, and now they've just got some unruly neighbors.
Nice grenade there, even though it didn't land, but Twisted Mind's still up on a 4 strong. They've got a nice little split with GK right on their doorstep. Rock arriving as well shortly. So Batulins and Perfectix might have to make a decision here about whether they want to stick this out. Now they know they were getting shot from the west rather, and now Rock in vehicles starting to head over in this direction.
Ooh.
Example in Lou, they might be, and oh, that's a badly timed sandstorm here for them as well.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what they're wanting to do because they are kind of playing a bit more into the west now. If anything, it looks like Twisted as well as Begapa were wanting to take shots in. I think that Begapa is on the outskirts of the sandstorm, so finally they're going to lose vision. So Rock can use this a bit. I'm just curious on if BL stays there. And, oh, Arena, you're going to get so much information from your glider in this spot.
You're going to eat a little bit of blue and eat a little bit of sand as the circle cuts, unfortunately, away from Oasis, and we get a little bit of water treatment action. 17 dead center here as you see RBN. As soon as the sandstorm leaves and the circle pops, Rock back on the move under the watchful eyes of Twisted Minds.
Interesting situation with Twisted Minds is GK is actually in the circle and Twisted's not. Just that little bit of a hill was enough to make it to where Twisted has to make a choice. Okay, do we wrap out or do we just go after GK? I mean, still high ground, but it's a bit scary as RBNs get some friends, and it's going to be Fury around top. Still peeks back around with 7 HP. Ballsy, but comes at a cost.
Unfortunate there. Haven down to next to nothing. Santastico trying to land some shots from a range as we get a little bit more region-on-region action. Batulin's going to steal that one away. That'll be a point picked up by Twisted, but now Furia, they get everybody back together. They still have Haven alive somehow. He's like, please move!
Move! 1 HP, bro. Let me in.
Gotta go.
Okay, so it does look like I think that PWD got spotted and flushed out. Twisted's got goals, and it looks like they are going to have Batulin's kind of sneaking around this compound.
Yeah.
Curious what the other side of Twisted's going to do here. E-Arena is also going to be chasing back behind Begapa. T1, they are kind of trying to figure out how to get in the circle as well, right next to Begapa. So I don't know. This has gotten a bit awkward over in the west.
Yeah, I do like this from Geek, though. They lose PWD in the process, but they are realizing, like, hey, we had a 3v2 against this team up on the top side. We got to clear our backs. Spiro is going to spot him out coming through, and Hiruzen going to get taken down by Batulins as he strikes at the perfect time, using that distraction from his teammates to catch Hiruzen slipping.
I mean, Twisted just did to Geek what Geek just did to Twisted, so just kind of usurps the position right underneath of him. Batulins closing out some doors. Spyro thinks that he hears the footsteps, and kind of deny it out.
Shoddy in hand. That is dangerous. Yeah, close the door, dip on out. That was a Kraken.
Bait.
Okay.
I thought that was Spyro with that shot there.
Gets a knock and the flush as well. So Twisted Minds just getting nickeled and dimed here, trying to deal with this last player playing a little ring around the rosy through the doors. Batulins. He just forces him to do exactly what he wants him to do. That's his third kill, 5 total for Twisted.
That was such a mind game, just looping him everywhere, closing all the doors.
Eventually, I'm going to be looking through one of these.
And it just kept on running it together. That was a very smart kill. And I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah. That was a Batu kill right there for sure. Well, they have to find their way in right now. Fortunately, they do have that little compound that Geek was in, so it's just on the edge of zone. Meanwhile, Akan will spot out Nurens from E-Arena. All this happening on the north side while the new circle does pop. It's going to favor water treatment once again, so this T1 E-Arena scrap on the north side will have to come to a head. I think T1 has to make a decision here. Do we take this fight, or do we start finding a spot in this next zone?
17 feeling good, but they have to figure out what are they going to do with this high ground. Best contesting on one side of it. T1, as you were talking about with E-Arena right next to them, they could wrap around. But remember, Forest got that good position that they fought for earlier. They could get some, I guess, good sight lines on how T1 is going to wrap. Now, also, Navi is going to regroup. Day trade down in water treatment. Furia, Twisted, Rock, and T5, though with Begapa, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of trouble here. Rock, meanwhile, good shots from Nurens. Will take down Raining before he can flush out the kill. And now Type's going to have to send it back over towards Raining to get that res, get him back on his feet. End off to the south has been spotted out by Jacob. This could be T1 in a lot of trouble here.
I mean, even if you do get this done fast enough, I don't know what either one of these squads are going to deal with. Freaks already look like they're trying to gatekeep out Nurens. Can you get the bounce to go your way? And he does. Gets the knockback on to Raining. Type just doesn't want to hold. That was beautifully cooked, and really the bounce on it. That's a hard throw.
I mean, look, I have been just beating it over the head as Jacob wins the 1v1 against End. That just how important it is in these lobbies to be efficient with your utility use. You have to land the grenades when you've got them dead to rights. There you go, Larix will get the final kill, and T1 is eliminated in 14th place.
Circle 4. It just mid-game hates T1 really bad, and it's getting to the point where you can see on the faces T1 starting to hate the mid-game as well. So E-Arena, you should be able to at least get inside this next circle. T5 as well as Rock, both in vehicles, roughly the same time. Begapa should be pretty close to T5. Looking downhill, look at all those nades prepped up. Oh, T5.
Oh, boy.
This is a problem, bro. You've got nowhere you can really go.
Rosseted been left behind, and he's keeping eyes on Rock, and he is causing them some problems. He is landing a lot of these shots, but he's not able to protect his teammates from Begapa. He can't do everything, and he is eating a lot of blue zone damage right now as Begapa is still 4 strong. They've got a little bit of a route inside here, but they would love to be able to take out T5 and Rock. Trying to get some of those points as Twisted Minds still in this somehow, but Tulin's finding kills.
Sorry, the leaping vehicle in between the shots, just like, I got to get out of here. Begapa still continuing to punish down onto T5, but yeah, E-Arena's Jacob just in the thick of everything. He's going to go down. Navi in control of the southeast. Day trade with water treatment itself. Furia now gets vision onto T5 and the blue zone on top of him. Ooh.
Ranger X. Should be Ranger, the former Ranger X, as he gets spotted out by Park Pro. Somehow, is Batulin still alive? He is. He's not on the map. He's still way off in the west, in the blue zone. He's managed to pick up another kill and another point for Twisted Minds, up to 6 total. As Rock, the Santastico, puts it right in the window, and he'll spot out Beamy. But he's got to make moves here quickly, secure that point though.
Okay, Furia right next to the thick of this with VP. It's going to be just hillside to hillside firefighting. You've got to take the firefight. It's Kraken, not going to find the angle that he wants onto it. Gizera does get the knock on a Luke Rux, but it's going to be Nixie that does get the down in the flesh on a Posa.
Everything is bad right now as Furia and VP. It's just mutually assured destruction in these open fields, getting third-partied as well. Salute picking off a couple of them, and he's going to get a couple of points in the bag for DNF, and now Gizera love to be able to finish off Nixie, and he does.
All right, to the north, we've got Freaks
to the north
with Begapa as well as Santastico. We've got Gizera wanting to finish out what's going on with VP here. Biza's just kind of got his back against the zone wall. Maybe he can sneak over there and get the res, but it's going to be DL that gets vision onto Nixie, so I don't even know if that's doable.
Oh my goodness, King of the Mountain right now is Begapa thought they had the high ground until somebody with the real high ground showed up. DNF doing work as they absolutely need, but no kills so far. How have they gotten no kills? I keep seeing them in the kill feed, but they're just getting stolen away. So Freaks need to be able to finish what's on their plate as Ibiza does get taken down. There you go. 1 kill now for DNF.
Okay, well the problem is, DNF, you've got a lot of friends that are coming after you. Begapa one side, Santastico also getting involved. Park Pro's got to go down. Forrest is going to use this opportunity to leapfrog into the circle, but that's going to put them pretty close to Na'Vi. Bestia also is going to have to be pretty cautious as Flash does manage to get a good setup in that. Okay, that's one I think that we're going to want to replay on.
They don't call him Flash. His name is Flush now. That's it. It's been decided. Somehow Batulins is still alive. I don't know where because he's not on the map, but he's off to the west somewhere just eating blue and collecting placement points now for Twisted Minds as we get to see the replay of what happened here with Bestia, maybe? No?
No, this is the arena
this is
push.
The arena push.
It was harsh.
Destroyed.
I mean, hey, Nurens.
What can you do? What can you do? Well, Draft King showing what he can do there, and yeah, I mean, just as soon as you cut to somebody's perspective, they're immediately getting shot at by somebody else. That's just the way it is in this lobby. As we still got a couple of people out in the blue zone, Too Hard trying to do some damage to the Freaks. But it looks like he's just going to go down. But Tulins will steal that one away, too. He gets another point before eventually our hero succumbs to the blue zone.
Okay, so raid boss down in the west. Furia, that now makes it to where your backs aren't as vulnerable. Freaks, you now have to make your way into the circle. Forrest still has Baron. That looks like he was keeping an eye on Na'Vi. He's going to need to regroup or potentially destroy Na'Vi or at least get some control in there.
4 up once again, man.
Day Trade, they've still got control over water treatment, and 17 still center.
I'm telling you, Day Trade, or 17 rather, has had a pretty decent day. And that might be the only thing that's saving them right now, because I guarantee you if Na'Vi popped off like this, and if they find some more success here in the final game, they might be considering doing the hot drop again against 17. We'll have to see, but right now the Freaks start to come alive as they get another kill. They went from 0 to 5 in a matter of seconds, it seems like.
I mean, it was Batulins. He was holding them back all by himself over there, right?
The blue monster, man.
Yeah, it's just so scary.
It's terrifying.
Na'Vi, top of the leaderboard, 6 points ahead of Day Trade. They still need to path into the circle, and they have Baron that's back behind them. I don't know if they're going to be expecting this. They're caught up taking shots in at Scappy, and Baron's been really patient. I haven't seen him shoot in a long time.
Oh, he's got grenade in hand, and he's coming in with the blue zone. Maybe waiting a little bit too long here, honestly, is he'll send one, he'll take the spray, take another spray, we'll find the first knock, he'll get taken down in the end, though, as Forrest, oh my goodness, and DNF going to do him a favor, and they'll take out the rest of them.
I mean, it was a good idea on a play, but it's just going to be Na'Vi on fire right now, running, charging directly into the Freaks as, while this is going on, try to give you guys updates, is it's going to be Ferris getting very close to the
slow
Freaks.
Down, yeah. They got the initial, oh my goodness, there it is. And one more for good measure, good night.
I love how close they were together. That's confidence. It's like, no, I got it, bro.
All right, well, back right in as the action picks up, as Salute will find the knock on Ferris. Sosa still bleeding out. He'll get finished off as well. DNF collapsing now onto Navi as they, looks like Heaven going to go for the res onto their fallen teammate. They'll get back up to full strength and play along this ridge line. What a grenade from Hackatory. Oh, my goodness, he put that in his pocket.
Okay, I mean, it was a disadvantaged fight, but they're finding opportunities. Deal going to be high ground looking in, is going to spot out Hackatory. So now what are you going to do, Freaks? This is definitely slowed down the pacing. You can see the Freaks already had eyes and getting control over the west.
Oh, no!
Stayed. Going to tell Freaks to stay exactly where they are.
Utility. And Navi exercising it in spades, but unfortunately at the end of the day, DNF gets everybody back on their feet. Navi goes out just before the final 3 as we have Day Trade and 17 on the low ground.
All right, Day Trade, they've got the man advantage down here. 17 is going to retreat back into the west. So Freaks did get their numbers back up strong. They're going to have high ground looking down into this one. So Day Trade, they have roughly how the lay of the land inside the warehouse is going to stack, but they haven't quite figured it out yet. They haven't got the knock to unlock what they want to do.
Freaks just cleaning up their high ground position, making sure that nobody's going to bite them in the back, no snakes hiding in the grass. And that is just diligent play on their part, as we see Day Trade slowly making their way through the smokes.
Oh, these are some pretty sneaky angles for 17. So, if anything, this is just going to surrender more of the circle to the Freaks the longer this goes on. So 17 just kind of exploding everything around them.
A little overcooked there, Shawu.
I mean, you never know. Somebody could have been on top of the crate, right?
Danger. And, no, he comes at the perfect time. Tigger catches him while he's not peeking. Lil Ghost will trade it out, but will get traded himself. And now Day Trade will win that fight. They'll try to get the res on before Freaks get good position, but they're going to spot out Belmoth from range, and Deal will get another knock. 564 damage for him.
Okay, now what are you going to do, Day Trade? You do have the center dot. Thanadol is on the outskirts of the building itself, though. Freaks control everything else. Heaven in heaven, Guman in their face, Deal now coming in for reinforcements, and Salute trying to get a very southern angle, really containing what Thanadol is trying to do. But Thanadol, as well as Tigger, managed to get some damage back. Salute goes down.
That's a big knock. Salute was that low flanking side position, and he has been taken down, but Heaven has the high ground, and that'll find Thanadol, as now Flash gotta get the res onto Belmoth, so Tigger needs to be able to hold this entire team at bay. Fortunately, he's got enough smokes left in his pocket to slow them down.
Okay, so with this, we are now seeing Salute flushed out and using the blue zone nade. So utility being burnt there. Belmoth has to defend up for his squad. He was holding the lower section for Thanadol, but Deal is going to specifically set up the line into the west. Circle pops, and it is still going to be center control for Day Trade, but I feel like territory control goes to the Freaks.
It does, but that dot going to finish right inside that warehouse, and you got to wonder, at some point Heaven might have to come down, because Day Trade fully aware that he is there now, so they're not going to get caught slipping to him again. They're just going to go ahead and play from inside those warehouse, and I think Heaven realizing it now. Come down, rejoin the rest of the boys, push in as 3, as Deal and Guman going to pull in right as Belmoth leaves that low ground and enters into that other warehouse.
So this is pretty much ceding circle control to Freaks. This is Day Trade saying, okay, we got you. We know the fact that you've got the high ground. We'll let you have it. We want center. But that means the fact that all of this hinges around what's going on inside that warehouse whenever we get to that stage, and Freaks get to set whatever pace they want, and at 12 kills, it's feeling pretty good. Day Trade 9, though, this is going to be a very strong firefight.
Absolutely. Not a lot of offensive utility left. Only 1 grenade between the two teams. Day Trade has 7 smokes and a few Molotovs, so when it gets down to brass tacks in the end game, they can slow things down and create a problem for DNF. But the problem that they have right now is that they don't have any way to force them to funnel into one direction. So all they can do really is smoke off the entrances maybe and try to see if they can catch freaks coming through the doors, and that's exactly what they're doing.
This is a very interesting innovation from Day Trade as they are slowing down the pace. This is a squad that's mostly known for really pushing the pace. Now they're trying to calm it back down.
This is
try to
heady
settle
stuff.
in, make sure the fact that they can. I love that they also have Belmoth still in the east, so that way nobody can wrap in. And if they do try to circle in, most notably Human comes around the angle where Flash is at, Belmoth can just pounce.
Look at this, Belmoth. Is that a bait deployable shield? I think it might be. I think it might be. He's got the deployable shield just off to the side, so if anybody comes in and just starts spraying it, he can peek from a different angle. I'm going to give him, maybe I'm giving him more credit than he's due, but I'm going to give it to him. Tigger has got one as well. We'll see how they decide to place these things. Those deployable covers could have a big impact on how DNF decides to push into this warehouse.
So the center dot is right along the wall, and we could have an interesting situation where instead of actually pushing the warehouse, Freaks might opt into just playing right along that wall instead and seeing if maybe they push this into a med battle, because really pushing the warehouse doesn't feel that good.
It doesn't feel great with not with no offensive utility. I mean, all they've got is 3 Molotovs, 3 flashbangs. It's just not enough stuff there really to dig these guys out the way you would like to, especially given how many angles they can be hiding from here, and you're down to just 3. So we'll see how they decide to do it, but it's definitely going to be slow.
Human now very close to dot, and Belmoth has surrendered the east, which is good because everybody is playing in the west for the Freaks now. Heaven also looks like he's still playing around this outer wall. He feels like he thinks that things are going to end over here. There is that doorway. Smokes are now starting to dissipate. There's not a lot of options. Human holding this angle.
I think that's a good spray. Doesn't get him though. I think the option that Freaks might have here, just have somebody play the outside wall, and then just give them all your heals, and and then when it turns into a heal battle, have the other 2 guys push in and get these guys while the blue zone is on top of them. But it's coming to a head now as Human will get the first shit. That is worth noting. He has got that backpack on.
So, shotgun.
Oh, it doesn't hit.
Not gonna come up. Tigger fights his way through. They've managed to breach the outside. Day Trade, how much more of this do you want? Heaven does get the knock on Tigger. Now just jumping out. Day Trade picks it up. Freaks are denied.
Very well played by Day Trade. It was always going to be a tough end game